Hey there. Happy Veterans Day to gay veterans everywhere, worried about their stability, their career, their pension, their benefits, all the things they could quite possibly be losing in the next 4 years. Thank you to all those veterans who tried to keep this a free country. We'll see how that plays out. I gotta look at some things here. Okay. Yeah. Uh, so last night, as I've been doing, I'm making some job related posts, some job related posts that are, political in nature, of course, and stirring the pot usually on some level, but also provoking you to think. I mean, if only we would have done that before we voted, right? I'm getting things about how I need to take a breath and relax a little bit. One asset actually told me to give the guy a chance. Give him a chance. That sounds vaguely familiar. Give him a chance. Did we hear that before? Sounds so very 2016. Little outdated of a booster, don't you think? Yes, this is a Bloody Mary. 1104 99.1 WDJY, America One Radio, and everybody on the Mastiff Media Network. It's Monday, federal holiday. I got to turn these headphones down a little bit. Give me a second. Monday, a federal holiday, and everybody's off but me. The FEMA office here that's been set up for Hurricane Helene, nobody's going to be at. Tried to get some envelopes, or not envelopes, stamps at the post office, which was closed. Just little old me working today. Let me know if you're working. Call from work. Take a break. Give me a call. 1-888-88-YERGS or 1-844-GAY LGBT. Both of them work. We've tested them both. Both working great. Our new phone system is up with Biz Phones for you and seamless communications. The actual parent company is 3CX. I don't know what that stands for. But these guys are essentially distributors for 3CX, resellers. And even with their markup, still cheaper than Ring Central, who, by the way, is still trying to get money. After I tried to cancel them in August prior to the September expiration of our contract, I couldn't get a hold of them for 2 months. Shocker. Now I get a hold of them and they say, well, you have a 12-month contract. First of all, that's illegal. Secondly, they're the ones that sucked. This is like Spectrum internet all over again. I couldn't use the text messaging. I couldn't use half the things that I was supposed to use. With 3CX and seamless communications, I tried to have a video conference with a potential subcontractor for Yerg's Radio. No worries. Had 2 meetings so far. Video. Just like Zoom, better quality. I mean, I'm really thinking about giving that out when necessary for, what is this now? I think I got a Google event that just got scheduled or something. I don't know. Something just popped up. Um, yeah, Google Calendar. What is this? And that was then. What do we got coming up today? Anything? No? No. Okay. We got up the middle going on right now. That's on the. I'm looking at this. Um, I also dumped Calendly because I'm losing too many meetings. Like I'd get a phone call from. I was just talking to my buddy Big Country, and he'd call me and say, "Yergs, you okay? Yeah, man. How you doing? Well, you missed our meeting. What meeting? And apparently, and he's not one of them, but like I said, he and I were just chatting before I came on the air. Um, I'd get messages from all kinds of people that I need to talk to, that I want to have a meeting with, that I missed meetings that I never knew about. So Calendly is gone. Google Calendar is where it's going to be for right now. I've created an event during afternoon business hours for after the show. Mornings are for show prep. After the show, that's when meetings are going to be Monday through Friday. That's it. Weekends are for other show prep and these two cuties right over here. That Matrix woke up today sick. I fed him too late last night. It's my fault. So we're going to be taking a look today at really what it's like. Because apparently people don't get it. People don't know what it's like to be investigated 3 times by your law enforcement agency's equivalent to internal affairs, solely for the purpose that you're gay. When this happened to me, I didn't do anything wrong. I was fine. I was going about my career. First time a supervisor on Hillary Clinton's detail blatantly asked other agents if they knew that I was gay, illegal thing number 1, and if they were okay with it. Like, did it make them uncomfortable in any way? That's what you're going to ask your employees, your subordinates, when you should, if you're a properly trained supervisor, you should know that is not even close to pretending to be legal. There we go. Get that out. So I don't get it. So over the weekend, I put this on Facebook because one of the things I'm doing is just everyday social things about my life. Walking the dogs, grocery shopping, whatever. And then in about, I'd say 1 in 4 posts is actually specifically and directly related to a previous or an upcoming episode of Up the Middle, or for that matter, any other shows I do. And I found this over the weekend. I found it in just the red square, but I also found it with this rainbow paint swirl or whatever's in the background. I thought that would look cooler, obviously. Hello. If you don't understand why your gay friend is scared right now, then you don't have a gay friend. You know a gay person. Well, is that accurate? Everybody's your friend when they need something. But when it comes time to help them in any way, or your country, like voting for some asshat that's not a traitor or not a felon or not an adulterer or not a failed business person that says they're going to save the economy when in fact they screwed it up. No, I'm going to vote for the guy that makes me look cool because I got a small dick. I'm going to vote for the guy that pays off not once, but twice a prostitute to not talk about what everybody knows. That's okay. Kamala, during one survey 5-6 years ago, says she would be for financially assisting people getting a transition surgery. Now that's the end of the world. When she since stepped back from that statement and stance, less than a year later. We don't tell that part in the commercial because it doesn't help us. It's okay to lie. Look at Fox News, $800 million and counting. And what happened to them? But nothing. But let's take ABC off the air because they told the truth. You just don't like it. A little pissed off today. But I guess I should be because today on Veterans Day, I've got friends that are gay veterans that have to reignite the Service Members Legal Defense Network, a group that was happily put out of business during the Obama administration because he helped the country realize that the members of the military, the people who matter in the first place, don't care if that person in the foxhole thinks they have a nice ass. They care if that person in the foxhole with them is going to save their ass when shit goes bad. But no, hicks that drive a big pickup truck think they know more. Yeah, I'm not sugarcoating today, gang. I've been thinking about it. My idea of being the Mr. Rogers of politics instead of the Howard Stern. I'm still open to it, and I think it'll take off. But some of you asshats need to be smacked in the head first, and I don't see Mr. Rogers doing that. So it's almost a week since the beginning of the end of intelligent democracy as our country knows it. And already there's a rebound, a return to Trump 1, ONE, first term, not WON, which sadly is also true. I also have to do some digging because today I told some douchebag on I think it was LinkedIn that I would happily be making an ass out of him. I'm going to try to go through the notifications or something. Oh, I think this is it. I think this is it. I think it was a guy named Pete DeLeon. who thinks that because he's done something for 40 years, it makes him an expert. No, Susan Pavin published some post about first post. I don't even know what this is. Oh, it's on Forbes. Shocker. U.S. citizens upset with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's win are considering leaving America. Okay, I'm not. I'm staying here to fight the good fight and to keep that asshat in check. According to Google search data, there's been an increase in US-based users interested in moving to Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. I've been to Australia, don't like it. New Zealand can't be much different. Canada is colder than Pennsylvania. So, no, I'm going to stay here in communist Florida. And then one of the posts, I said, I'm going to stay and continue to fight and protect even Trump supporters, whether they like it or not. Does that sound familiar? Women who are supported by Trump, whether you like it or not. This second one is watered down. It was left over from the shaker because I got it right before I went on the air. Pamela Dornbaum. I should share this. How are we looking? There it is. All right. There you go. You can follow along. Pamela Dornbaum says, "You have a much better life with President Trump. Everyone knows that. We had a much better life with President Trump the first 4 years, remember? When you thought things were better and he took a good economy and squandered it. He took a good reputation globally and squandered it. He took documents and squandered and stole them. That good reputation or that good life, better life. I don't know if this is for me, against me, or if it's for Pamela Douchebomb or whatever. That is Ursula Moebius. Moebius. Wow. Oh, just chop it off. Ursula Mo. That is nothing more and nothing less than a sane response. I don't know if that's to me that I'm going to be, here supporting Trump supporters, or if she's some psycho that thinks you're going to have a much better life with T-Rump. So my response to Pamela, under Trump 1, that's an I for Trump 1. Under Trump 1, I made 6 figures. Now, kind of do the math here, people. I wish I had a visual for this, a graphic. Under Trump 1, I made 6 figures, 160,000 to be exact, my highest. I paid $3,000 per month in rent. Now, it was rent, but not a mortgage. It was still $3,000 a month. Remember that number. Had almost identical expenses for living, utilities and such. Had a take-home car for my job in federal law enforcement. You all know it's with the Secret Service. And that meant, 1, a free car, with 2, paid maintenance, 3, a gas card, and 4, a parking spot downtown Los Angeles. That can be $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. Under Biden, I retired, sending my gross to only $72,000. I say only because I was making $160,000. And many of my neighbors here, I will concede the fact, make half of what I'm making now. And people wonder why they don't pay taxes or claim them or file them. Now I have a $3,000 mortgage. So still paying the same place to live in a building. Last place was a single family house. That was my apartment. I was renting the house. 2 bed, 1 bath. Now I'm in a single family house, 3 beds, 2 baths. Still, ultimately, $3,000 a month goes out the window. Comparable living expenses and utilities. However, in addition to a water bill, like I had in LA, which was connected to my sewer bill, in addition to a water bill, I also have a separate sewer bill. Republicans get you any way that they can. We call that the trickle up economy. I also no longer have the G ride. That's the government car, which means I'm left to my minivan and all the expenses. Now my minivan is in great shape. I own it outright, so I don't have a car payment, but I didn't have a car payment with the Secret Service either. I do have expenses on it. I do have a gas tank to fill, and I do have maintenance. Well, the expenses on it. Additionally, I've adopted my son and am now helping him to move out on his own, a much more expensive process than living here with me. I'm also starting a broadcast company, which you're listening to right now, from my home. Check out Up the Middle Radio Show and podcast, exactly what you're listening to right now. I'm saving money under Biden. The numbers don't lie. Pamela Dornbaum says, so sorry. I don't care if you're sorry or not. Under Trump, I had a wonderful job and a great life. And under Biden and his unlawful mandates, I lost my wonderful job and had to move out of state as soon as many people have done. I am feeling very hopeful for President Trump next term, as it will be better and safer future for all. I said, you must not be gay. Peter DeLeon, after 44 years in security investigations, fancies himself an expert. Let's see. If you choose to be gay, that's your decision. Let me stop you right there, Petey. He continues to say the problem lies with you. You think you deserve everything for free, or deserve something for free, and you expect the rest to agree with you. No, I wasn't expecting anybody to agree with me that Kamala would be a much better president. She was not my first choice. She was not my 17th choice. But when it comes to her or Biden or 90% of the Republicans, I would strip naked and crawl through broken glass to vote against Trump. Doesn't work that way. Okay, tell me how it works, Pete. Oh, wise one of 40 years of experience doing nothing. You can offend anyone you want, but we can't offend you. You can't offend me because I don't listen to you. I don't consider anything that somebody who opens up their statement by saying, I can choose to be gay, and that's my decision. Let me help you with my life here. I grew up in a really big baseball town, in a really big hockey family. Instead of playing baseball, I was an umpire. Instead of playing hockey, I was a referee. Now, do you really think that I'm trying to be even more different than what I already was? It's not a decision. The ignorance that you have by saying that shows that your 44 years of experience probably should have had you get out of whatever industry you're in 45 years ago. What makes me better than anybody else? Nothing. I never said I was. This is the maggot way. Tell people what they said that is nothing close to what they said. That's what you asshats do. And so here's my response. All of it. choose to be gay. No one chooses to be persecuted for who they are. I didn't choose to be anything. Your ignorance and presumption that I'm wanting something, anything for free, is a very misogynistic approach Trump hopes for in his efforts to cause division. Instead of calling you by any of the negatively descriptive names that would easily fit you, Pete, I'm going to help educate you and make an example of you on my daily radio show. Ta-da, I found it. Boom. I hope that you listen Monday at 11 a.m. Selfless plug. I mean, why not, right? There's the link. We often take ignorant people like you and help them realize that their bigotry, hate, and ignorance is taught and not even really how they feel. So I'll encourage you to tune in and realize that I want nothing for free and that no one is better than anyone else. You, sir, are about to learn that the hard way. Like I said, totally, ass backwards. When did you say ass backwards? You can say anything you want, and by the way, everyone has a choice. No, I don't have a choice about being gay, you dick. You're an ignorant dick. This is what people follow. Douchebags like Pete DeLeon. I don't listen to radio stations that are full of hate and one-sided opinions. What do you listen to, Pete? Fox? Hate and one-sided opinions. My show is called Up the Middle. It's right there, staring at you. Oh. And then in a comment to the poster of his own, he said, fantastic. Which socialist communist country are you going to? I answered it. I said, Florida. Sorry, I thought you meant fascist. This is not about woke ideology. You people are sheep. Oh. And Pete, in his infinite wisdom, probably actual wisdom, doesn't put a photo up there. Ron Dawzik, that's your photo. Excellent choice, Ron. Eat a salad, buddy. Oh. By the way, he lives in Guelph, Ontario. That's a college town that is a liberal college town. I know, I've been there. I've skated there. I went. Bruce Hood's International School of Refereeing and Don Koharski's school his first year, 87, 88, and 89, were all in Guelph, Ontario. That's like the San Francisco of the East Coast. Trust me, I got to do that too. Oh, wow. So there's Pete and now Ron. Back to this one. And am I scared? Well, you know what? I'm not going to get any more investigations by the Secret Service because of the fact that I'm gay. Does that, I mean, I'm worried about my pension. You know, what happens when he retroactively removes gay employees and their record of service? He took, and I think I have a link to that too. Or maybe that's on my phone. I gotta look. I gotta take a break anyway. So let's do that. It's 11:31 on 99.1 WDJY, America One Radio, and the rest of the Massive Media Network. We'll be back after what? After I find a video. There it is. After this. Hey gang, does your house smell nasty? Do you want to freshen it up a little bit? Go to aromabypeter.com. Check out all of Peter's candles. It's what we burn here in Studio Yergs. I'm burning right now leather scented candle. That's right, leather scented. So go to aromabypeter.com/Yergs and check out his candles today.
I'm Jane Stahl, retired English teacher, and with my BFF, Susan Bebeck, we manage Studio B Fine Art Gallery in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. We showcase the art of hundreds of local artists, publish books of the poetry, prose, and art of local writers, offer classes, art parties, workshops, discussion groups, cater dinners. We've even hosted a wedding. And we're here to be the go-to place for friendship, learning, and fun in our community. Virtual tours of our exhibits are available right here on Yergs Radio. Let us introduce you to some amazing art and artists.
Check out Jane Stahl and everyone at Studio B in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. Please visit our YouTube channel, Talk TV 24. How's your website doing? I'll tell you how mine's doing. It's awesome. Yergs.com is gotta be the best website for anybody in podcasting or any sort of broadcast solo journalist like me. How did I get that? Limit Break Digital. Limit Break Digital did my website with Yergs.com. They did YergerGroup.com. They take care of my marketing, my branding, and help me get the message out to you. Go to limitbreakdigital.com/Yergs for 10% off your next project. That's a $3,000 site, Yergs.com. And you can get 10% off that by just going to limitbreakdigital.com/Yergs today. Talk to Jay. That's my guy. We all got a guy, and Jay's mine. Limit Break Digital. There we go. Momentum Fitness. You frustrated? You need to bang out some weights? Build that momentum. Go to Momentum Fitness. Why? It's right here on US 19 in Pasco, Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. All you need is this thing right here. This is it. Right there. Your phone. Of course, you can't see that when I'm still on the small screen. There we go. Oh, damn, peeking up. See that? Momentum Fitness. Same equipment, improved equipment, better equipment, more of it, more space, indoors and out, stretching area, cold plunge, sauna, CrossFit space, indoors and out. It's not the same gym it was when it was just Monster Mouse Fitness, and that was an awesome gym. So build your momentum, bring back that Hernando Beach body, go get yourself a Clearwater Beach body, you know, the St. Pete Beach, the gay beach down there. Get ready, put that Speedo on. It's still hot enough, and build the momentum. Momentum Fitness, go to momentumfitness.com. No, momentumfitnessandwellness.com, or just show up and just go there. It's right on 19, Jasmine Estates, in the Arby's, between the Arby's to the north and the U-Haul to the south, in that shopping center, and just go right up to the door and snap the QR code. You're done. You're signed up. Build that momentum. Momentum, fitness, and wellness. All right, when we left, we were going through LinkedIn and YouTube, or LinkedIn and Faceplace, about people that are just comfortable being their level of normalcy with no consideration for us that are not that normal. Um, so over the weekend, I told you at the beginning of the show, over the weekend I posted this. If you don't understand why your gay friend is scared right now, then you don't have a gay friend. It's still playing. There we go. Then you don't have a gay friend. You know a gay person. That's where you're at. And I looked at that and I'm like, yeah, yeah. My friends messaged me during the repair or the initial teardown after Helene. Some even offered money. Some even just sent me money. And those who offered, thank you. I'm going to admit another fault. I should have taken you up on your offer because things got tight during the month of October and even now into November. I'm still waiting on that $750 everybody else is talking about. I know people that are settled, that are people renting like a bedroom in my house or somewhere. They were given their $750. Then, about 2 weeks later, their bank account suddenly up $4,000 just for renting in somebody else's house. I own the house. I haven't seen the $750. And yeah, that's a bit more of a rant against, I'll say, the Biden administration, because that's FEMA. But here comes the DeSantis administration, the guy who ran to be governor on fixing the insurance industry in Florida. I keep calling my adjuster who keeps saying, oh, they had a glitch, and so they're a little behind. Everything should be done by the end of the month. I'm broke. I had to make repairs so I can live in this place because I can't go anywhere else. I've been approved by the one thing I heard about from FEMA. I've been approved for a hotel. I can't get a hotel. You know why? Because right down there, look at those two. They're not allowed in hotels. I got to make sure I'm centered and that you can see Mastiff Media. I'm trying to get a trailer for out front, like some of my neighbors already have. They were probably paid their $30,000 or whatever. And by the way, so I know somebody that rents a room that was settled up with essentially $5,000. They got paid $4,100. Suddenly, just appeared in their account with a FEMA tag on it, and they received the initial $750. So 48, almost $5,000. It was 41 and change. So now $4,750 and change, $4,800. $4,800 to rent a room. That's what all your stuff was worth. My next door neighbors got their settlement that they're trying to appeal. Total $750 check include for a house, $2,100. They can't get a refrigerator for that. And by the way, replacing your washer dryer doesn't count because for some reason, some two pieces of appliances that are that big aren't considered major appliances. They're considered part of your things. So that's not insured in homeowners insurance or flood insurance or whichever, flood insurance. And it's not replaceable by FEMA. They don't care. So now I'm trying to also get through the initial. I know the whole assessment is going to take a while. Now we're switching over to flood insurance. I know that's going to take a while. It is a racket. It's actually probably backed instead of fixed by the Florida government. Oh. But one of the things that they have is what do they call it? Like an advance of funds, an initial payment. Basically, it's a good chunk of change that you know you're going to get already, so that you can get started, so that you can stay ahead of these expenses instead of have to pay out of pocket. You know, the equipment my dad and I needed to get this house almost safe. We don't even know that the mold is really out of this house, and I'm living in the garage. So I don't have and I know the money that he put in, the amount that he put in for my adjuster put in for 35,000. I don't have that. It's not going to come today because today's a federal employee or a federal holiday. So there's going to be no mail today. It was supposed to be here 2 weeks ago. I called about it then. No, it's going to be another week. It was supposed to be a week ago. Wasn't here then either. We're halfway through November, and nobody's even got answers, let alone money. So don't tell me when Ron DeSantis puts out posts that FEMA, and apparently this may be an actual post, it's 100% wrong, that FEMA said not to pay any attention to houses with Trump signs. That's not okay. That's not what you're here for. And again, hockey referee, baseball umpire, I've made a life out of being impartial. And that is not okay. But because I've got a Biden Harris sign out back hanging on my seawall, that's not okay to make me a target either. And when I get Republican neighbors and other people that are anti-Biden, anti-Harris, done, paid for 5 times what I could be expecting to see according to my neighbor's payment, that's not okay either. Oh, I think I'm going to get a strainer on my Bloody Mary glasses so I don't have to worry about sucking in any of the ice. So yeah, 1-844-GAY LGBT. Figure it out. There's numbers and letters on your dial pad, or 1-888-88-YERGS. I can put the other number up through the ticker. There's a lower third. There's that one. Oh, there's them both. Look at that. Well, not questions for Jeff, but just leave it at taking your questions. There it is. So, yeah, if you can understand why I'm at least scared, concerned, whatever wording you want to use doesn't matter. Who's messaging me now? Oh, these people giving me more value on LinkedIn by paying them. So there's not going to be any. I'm not going to. You can find. I don't know. Can I put a? Let me see. Damn it. All right, there's my copy link to comment. Oh, there it is. Okay, I guess you will get them in the show notes. I didn't even. We didn't even do like Pierre's pot, or I didn't even find a thing to talk about today. Here's Facebook too. Pin, pay, edit, turn, bed, edit, move to archive, move to trash. I'm not going to put embedded code. That's stupid. Pin post, save post. You can comment, edit post. Edit audience. No. See, we didn't go through the comments on that one, did we? There's the share button. Copy link. There's Facebook. That's in the show notes. Don't forget, you can get all our show notes by going to yergs.com. If there is an episode you're looking for, and it's not there, most of them aren't going to be there right now, message me. News, NEWZ, at, where's that at? There we go. News, NEWZ, at YERGZ.com. Let me know what episode you're looking for, and I'll gladly send it to you. So here's some of the comments that I'm dealing with for having posted this today. Now, I know this Bill Holdsworth guy because he's a tech guy. I don't know if he's still employed or if he's retired, because he was ahead of me. He was already on. He was just coming on in Philly when I became an agent. These are all good enough people, but this is just shows how ignorant they are. He said, I could be wrong, but Richard Grinnell served as acting director of national intelligence, and true to like the whole ass kisser government employee, he's got to put the acronym in DNI. I know what a DNI is, Bill. Under President Donald Trump in 2020, becoming the first openly gay holder of a cabinet level position in the history of the United States. Bill, you Googled that. How do I know? Because when I Googled it, it was the first thing that came up. And in fact, you've even got the same wording in your post that was on the artificial intelligence. So don't think that you knew this. So I replied to him, you're not mistaken about Grinnell. What you're mistaken about is about safety, the safety we have in job security and life in general. I've been investigated 3 times during my Secret Service career, and I tag Secret Service too. Let them know it. All because of my sexuality, not because of any misconduct. 2 of those investigations came during Trump's first administration. While they tried to rope other issues into it, Once I proved to them that it was not about misconduct, but about discrimination, they couldn't quote unquote conclude their investigation fast enough. But how long was that going to last before they put something else together? And it's not like the Secret Service is really filled with only people who are, quote, worthy of trust and confidence. So someone was to concoct something soon enough. Here it is. This is the article that I was thinking about earlier. This was done by NBC News. Dated December, New Year's Eve, 2019. In this article, while he's holding a flag LGBT for Trump, that's like Jews for Hitler. Trump, and while I was there, was one of them. They don't announce, they don't say, they're not proud of what they're doing, apparently. But they systematically get rid of the LGBT community in the written, documented classes of protection. And GLAAD has the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation has been watching this. In July 2017, on the day he announced a transgender military ban on Twitter, Trump's Justice Department officially shifted course regarding its legal interpretation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Unlike the Obama administration, the Trump team would not interpret the decades-old law to prohibit employment discrimination based on sexual orientation. This was put in by W, not Obama. It's so obvious that your bigotry is so outdated that W put it in. In November 2017, General Services Administration removed sexual orientation and gender identity from its 2015 discrimination statement. In March 2018, lesbian and bisexual resources disappeared from the website on the Department of Health. Indeed, the government's own civil rights watchdog group, the Commission on Civil Rights, in November found a systematic approach to dismantling LGBTQ rights protections. Karen Narasaki, a member of the Commission's board, called it truly unprecedented. But last week, and again, this is back in 20-something, 2019, December of 2019. But last week, the Interior Department's public response to the change raised eyebrows. Carol Danko, a spokesperson, reportedly said the department was following the Obama-era guidance that found that federal civil rights laws protect LGBTQ people. Per the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, under Title VII of the term sex includes gender, gender identity, transgender status, sexual orientation, and pregnancy, Danko said, according to the HuffPost. Danko's response highlights the central tension in the Trump administration's LGBT gay policy, even as Trump's Justice Department is arguing before the Supreme Court that the Obama-era EEOC guidance is incorrect. Why would you argue why would you even argue that? Unless you're Trump's bitch. Good for the Interior Department. I'm wondering if this is one of the many things Trump did that his advisors said was illegal. Compounding the confusion, LGBTQ advocates sued to see Justice Department LGBTQ policy documents, and a Justice Department employee resource group complained in an open letter about discrimination in the department. Soon after, in April, Attorney General William Barr demonstrated support for the Justice Department's many LGBTQ employees, even as he directed the effort to dismantle federal LGBTQ protections before the Supreme Court. Yeah, because that's something you want to follow. Is a hypocrite like that. Barr later released an equal opportunity hiring statement that notably did include sexual orientation and gender identity. Meanwhile, the Trump administration and the president's reelection campaign have taken some steps to garner LGBTQ support. The administration has appointed several openly gay people to high-level positions, including Richard Carnell, who we talked about, as administrator to Germany, and Patrick wow, I don't even know that one, Bumate, as a judge in the Ninth Circuit, as we all know how good that one is. However, an LGBTQ legal advocacy group recently claimed that a third of Trump's judicial nominees have anti-LGBTQ track records. Shocker. The administration has also launched a national HIV prevention program. The Trump campaign website sells Trump-branded rainbow merchandise. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see what we got. Sparking criticism, blah, blah, blah. LGBTQ for Trump. That's the t-shirt. That's weak. Yeah. How you can be gay and support Trump, or black, or Hispanic. Black voices for Trump. Proposed rule to expand the exemption that allows religiously affiliated businesses. Everybody's going to be religiously affiliated now. And besides, isn't that the demographic that should be welcoming the gay community? Because, I mean, after all, isn't that what Jesus would do? Goddamn hypocrites. It's painful to have to listen to you asshats. All right, so that was Bill. Paul Oswald said, I wish everyone who voted blue would stop with the drama. That's not what I see on my feed, Paul. That's my post. I can post on my wall whatever I want. But the crap that comes in is from you asshats. Give the man a chance. Give the man a chance and see what happens. This liberal propaganda, it's not liberal propaganda. Basic rights are not liberal propaganda. I want you to go to any one of your women or black coworkers who couldn't vote 100 years ago. Or hell, go to your wife. Go to your wife who couldn't have her own credit card 50 years ago. And tell them to stop with the liberal propaganda. Fat slob. The liberal propaganda paranoia would destroy your life and let it become you. Here's what's destroyed my life, Paul. Being investigated 3 times by your hypocrite hick friends. That's what destroyed my career. Not having to look over my shoulder. That I knew was coming. Who keeps calling me? I'm on the radio. Oh, is Jane here? Ah, there she is. She's listening to me just sitting there giggling while I'm bitching at everybody. Hey there.
Hello, my friend.
Are you hearing me this whole rant?
Yes, I'm hearing the rants. I'm checking my email at the same time.
Look at you multitasking.
I know. I'm not very good at it anymore, but I was able to catch some of your rage, and certainly, yeah, it's been it's
no.
whatever. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I mean,
you've got catching up to do. I'm on Bloody Mary number 3.
Are you really? I've got tea.
Oh, I've got coffee too. I haven't even touched that yet.
Anyway, it's been a really, really tough week. And I mean, we watching I gave up about 10:30 election night because I could see what was coming. I mean, what I saw, as I wrote to you at the time, was that, you know, Kamala was getting fewer votes than Biden had 4 years before, and
Yeah.
I knew that it was not going to end well unless there was something, some miracle that happened, but, I got up to Wednesday morning and, was not at all surprised. And as I've said to my friends, given, certain circumstances in my own life, I'm schooled at grief and I can go right to acceptance for the most part. And there
Yeah,
are
I guess
only niggling moments, throughout this week where I have felt the despair and despondence, but I can jump back out of it pretty quickly, but I certainly do appreciate certainly do. I mean, oh god. Anyway, I've gotten notices from friends of mine who are just all but hysterical, and
oh,
so disappointed and all. But as Paul keeps saying, if you wanna know, sometimes as a parent, you gotta let the kids touch the stove and realize
yeah,
what they have done. And certain other of my friends, in addition to Paul, have said, "Wait a couple of years. They have no idea what they've done."
yeah.
So, that's kind of where we are, and like every other time in my life, I get back to work because it's my biggest, distraction from disappointment, from fear, from rage, from all those nasty things. So, I got back to work, and here we are, and here we are, and here we are. But what I'd like for us to do is continue your plea to have people write into you or call into you or whatever and explain to us exactly what it was that made them make the decision that they did. I mean, we need to know those things. Now, I have heard in listening to some news pundits over the past week that I listened to one Latino man talk about, and this rang really true to me. One Latino man who said, "Well, it's part of the Latino culture. There's no way Latino men in general are going to vote for a woman. They're just not. It's not it's not part of their culture."
Well,
So,
I love
but
how
go ahead.
I love how the so many of the defenders of the Trump administration are saying this has nothing to do with sexism. And I'm like, really? You went on, bless you.
Excuse me.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Bless you.
I'm
Uh,
back.
you went on Joe Rogan for the sole purpose of garnering the male vote.
Mhm.
You had one of your other mouthpieces going around raising awareness for male voters.
Mhm.
If we're just talking about the issues, shouldn't women's rights be one of those things that should get them out to vote?
One would think so,
Shouldn't the
but
economy, shouldn't the
it
border, shouldn't all
it's
these other supposed issues
no.
be what's going to get them out to vote?
Well, I don't know. The price of eggs. The
Oh,
price of eggs.
and
But
this was the
equally m
failure.
more disappointing. I mean, the whole thing about Latino men and the culture and all that kind of stuff is disturbing because it points to the misogyny and the sexism that
Mm.
exists, and I don't know if it's ever gonna go away. But somebody said to me, "I need to republish the magic wand theory." Maybe it was you. I don't know. Anyway, but even more disappointing is that the women went for Trump. I
Yeah,
mean, So, when you talk about didn't women's rights grab enough voters, I guess the hell not. I mean, Jesus. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
So it's,
I thought
it's been real disappointing. And I guess males, young males, medium males, whatever males there are, and a certain major portion of women are still enamored with the whole macho kind of male
Donald
bravado.
Trump?
Uh, he's got a dick. That's
Are
all.
you sure?
He has a magic wand. He has a magic wand,
Are you
and
sure?
Kamala does not.
I mean,
Well,
can you find it?
according to what's her name,
Excuse me.
according
Sorry.
to what's her name, he has an interesting one. So
But it's covered in poop.
anyway, apparently it doesn't matter.
I know I got friends that would agree with that, but ain't one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so we just have to wait and see. And God loved these people who got back up on the proverbial horse and said, "Okay, we got to get to work now."
Yeah.
That's not the kind of work that I'm interested in doing at this particular stage of my life. So I'm just going back to doing my stuff. So,
Yeah, I'm not looking forward
but
to
I
it.
want to hear. But I want to hear from. I want to hear from. And again, I want to say this. I want to hear from people who voted for the guy, and maybe now they will feel comfortable because they're in the majority. Maybe now they will feel comfortable telling us exactly why they voted for the dick.
Yeah. Um,
Because I don't understand. But
yeah, I don't get it.
yeah, but here we are.
Yeah.
So I guess just like the last time. And I said to both Paul and I said, okay, well, here we go. Let's see what happens. Let's see if anything's been learned over the past however many years, and let's see how it happens. So
Yeah.
there's nothing more to be done.
Yeah, I don't understand how you can blame 3.5 years that you think are bad on a vice president who really didn't have the control of those 3.5
No.
years that people are blaming on her, when there were
Ross,
4
it's
years that were effed up by the guy.
again, it really has nothing to do with policy.
No.
The price of eggs, yes. The price of gas, yes. I mean, people will use any little policy thing in order to justify what's really at the root of it. And what's really at the root of it, I hate to say, and I'm not alone in saying it,
No.
is the racism and the sexism. I mean,
And the
there
homophobia.
it is. It's just there.
Don't count me out. And the homophobia.
Mhm. Oh, yes.
Don't leave me
Yes.
sitting here.
That too. We don't want people to have equal rights. We don't. We want to have power
Yeah, and
over
that
people.
was one of the things. I'm gonna paraphrase it because I'm not gonna get it exactly, but a post that I saw said, "Just because you're giving deserved rights or, rights that are deserved to others, doesn't mean yours are being taken away."
That's the zero-sum game.
And I don't
If I
understand.
give you equal rights, that means I have less.
Yeah,
Okay? If I give you equal pay, that means I will end up having less, and I can't do that. I have to think of myself and my family first. It's a zero-sum mentality
yeah,
that we're fighting against. We're fighting against a zero-sum mentality. We're fighting against, this competitive nature, human nature. I mean, think about it. How much we love our sports, how much we love beating somebody. That's innate. And I don't there may be other cultures around the world, and I'm sorry, I'm not educated enough to be able to talk about them, but I know there are matriarchal cultures around the world, more feminine based cultures around the world that are working in a lovely kind of way. But the United States of America is all about competition. It's all about individualism. It's all about, getting whatever I can, how much ever I can, because it's never enough.
Yeah. Uh,
And those people, and sadly, this is kind of worth exploring at some point. Sadly, those people who don't believe in what our American individualism is all about are sometimes our artists and sometimes people who cannot deal with our society and culture as it is, that end up, you know, escaping into alcoholism and drug use and so forth, because they don't want to play, they don't want to compete, and there's no way out of it except to leave.
right.
Anyway, just a thought that
I got to take a quick
that
break.
could be explored.
I got to take a quick break because the little
Oh,
puppy started
all
walking
right.
towards the door. So let me let her out. And
Okay.
1213 99.1 WDJY, America One Radio, and everything at Mastiff Media. It's up the middle and both sides now. We'll be back after this. Hey, gang. Does your house smell nasty? Do you want to freshen it up a little bit? Go to aromabypeter.com. Check out all of Peter's candles. It's what we burn here in Studio Yergs. I'm burning right now leather scented candle. That's right, leather scented. So go to aromabypeter.com/Yergs and check out his candles today.
I'm Jane Stahl, retired English teacher, and with my BFF, Susan Bebeck, we manage Studio B Fine Art Gallery in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. We showcase the art of hundreds of local artists, publish books of the poetry, prose, and art of local writers, offer classes, art parties, workshops, discussion groups, cater dinners. We've even hosted a wedding. And we're here to be the go-to place for friendship, learning, and fun in our community. Virtual tours of our exhibits are available right here on Yergs Radio. Let us introduce you to some amazing art and artists.
Check out Jane Stahl and everyone at Studio B in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. Please visit our YouTube channel, Talk TV 24. How's your website doing? I'll tell you how mine's doing. It's awesome. Yergs.com is gotta be the best website for anybody in podcasting or any sort of broadcast solo journalist like me. How did I get that? Limit Break Digital. Limit Break Digital did my website with Yergs.com. They did YergerGroup.com. They take care of my marketing, my branding, and help me get the message out to you. Go to limitbreakdigital.com/Yergs for 10% off your next project. That's a $3,000 site, Yergs.com. And you can get 10% off that by just going to limitbreakdigital.com/Yergs today. Talk to Jay. That's my guy. We all got a guy, and Jay's mine. limitbreakdigital.com. Hey, gang, it's Yergs. Right now, our country is about to embark on yet another controversial presidential election. I have an actual question, legitimate question, as a political scientist and historian by education. If you are a Trump supporter, I want to hear from you. I want to know what your appeal to Donald Trump is at this time. Please email me news, N-E-W-Z, at yergs.com. News, N-E-W-Z, at YERGZ.com. Thanks. Participants must be willing to provide their contact information, answer a series of questions, and then have their first name broadcast over the radio and social media. We're back.
Are we back? Okay.
So
Oh
I had
gosh,
to take
here we are.
we didn't make it. She was here at my lap. Yeah.
Shady.
And I thought she wanted to come up into my lap, so I reached in to pick her up, and she starts walking off through the kitchen and into the dining room. Like, oh, she's gonna go. Okay. Well, she pooped in the bar room, so
Oh
I looked
no.
clean. And fortunately, drywall dries her out. It was easy to clean up. She That's the thing. She's chewing and eating drywall now. That's London in the house.
Oh,
That's
oh no.
yes.
Oh no. We love our dogs though. We love our
I
dogs.
spent today.
Yes.
Oh, now she's barking.
Do you need to check
Yeah, I'll
on
be
her?
right back.
Okay, well, I'll just blab here a little bit about one thing or another. I think what Ross and I want to talk about also today is to celebrate November 11th, which is Veterans Day, and give due celebration, due praise and gratitude to those veterans that are, some of them suffering still, with post traumatic stress, with all sorts of perhaps illnesses from inhaling chemistry or chemicals during their service years. Anyway, but celebrating all those veterans, all of those men and women who have dedicated themselves, have committed to our freedoms here in America. So I don't know if Ross has something special he would like to talk about, but we wanted to keep our gratitude for veterans in the back of our minds today as we, journey forth. And that, also it will be interesting to see if our president-elect has anything to say today, Veterans Day, in celebration of those men and women who have generously offered their time and service to the protection of our rights here in this country. So we'll see. Anyway, anything you want to add,
Good
buddy?
cover. Yeah. Well, I started by thanking gay veterans and
Okay. Oh,
and
okay.
you're just saying, yeah, I'm thinking of you. Uh,
Yeah.
and actually, I did actually pull up a yeah, Trump on this is according to the American Civil Liberties Union. Trump on LGBTQ rights, rolling back protections. Um, Louisiana Illuminator, that can't be liberal. LGBTQ advocates fear a second Trump turn will double future litigation. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we can continue um, bewailing the state of the union at this particular time, but I also want to give you an opportunity, if you have thought about it, um, about um, about gratitude.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we have Thanksgiving coming up, and
For some
as
of us
you
this
know, the
weekend.
board. Uh, anyway, we have Thanksgiving coming up, and the digital news site that I helped to edit, the Boyertown Area Expression, we want to run a series of. We have planned a series of articles from our readers in which they are sharing their gratitude over one thing or another, or maybe sharing what they're not grateful for, maybe sharing how difficult Thanksgiving is in their household, stories that hopefully will inspire us to be more empathic to other people's situations. But one thing that just crossed my mind, I have a friend with whom I work at the art studio that I help to manage, and she and her husband are watchmakers. They do horological services. They fix watches and clocks. And I said to her the other day, she was in visiting me Saturday when I was hosting the studio. And I said, you know what? I remember you told me that she was telling me how busy she was, how busy her husband was, repairing watches and clocks and so forth. I said, yeah, I remember. You told me years ago that Thanksgiving is your busiest season because people like to reach across the Thanksgiving table to get the mashed potatoes or the stuffing or the cranberry sauce or whatever, and while they're doing that, they show off their new watch.
Hmm.
Isn't that funny? I think that's a riot. I would never have thought that people would be enjoying showing off their wristbands, their watches, while they were passing the mashed potatoes. I think that's kinda cute, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, my kid brother is a watch nut. I yeah,
Really?
yeah, like he's got like obscure watches that cost almost as much as any Rolex, and you never
Oh my
heard of them. But as
goodness.
a watch guy, then he's more into that, and his other watch buddies are, oh, you got a Jane Star, whatever kind of
Wow.
watch, I don't know.
My husband had a mini fixation on Seiko watches. When he was in Vietnam, he was able to buy a Seiko watch at a pretty reasonable price back in the day, and he likes them because they're really thin. And I guess his hand doesn't get caught in his pocket.
Um,
when he But anyway, so, his Seiko died, but we haven't been able to find thin ones that he could afford. So, just a mini obsession about watches, just to share.
well,
Anyway, so I wondered if you were
brand.
ready to share some things that you are grateful for in preparation to writing an article for us for the Boyertown Area Expression. What will you be writing about?
Well, like just like I guess the people that do see what we're in for, like in this Facebook post, there's three people. The first three people to comment were negative towards the gay community on some level, but there's 23 people that liked or whatever, um, that liked the post in general. And so if you subtract people like Paul Oswald and Robert Joshua, who laughed at the post,
Mhm.
that's two. Brandon Messina is this douche from Miami that is basically another uber masculine. He's got a smoking hot wife. And before I knew, the only reason I friended the guy is because he has a great body. I never saw his face. He's got a blue bonnet face, meaning butter face. But
What is a butterface? Describe
everything,
butterface.
well, it's sexist in that it means but her face, meaning she
Oh.
has a great body, but her face not so much.
Oh, I'm sorry. I took that way too literally. I was thinking of people who describe JD Vance's face as hamburger meat or something.
Well, yes.
I don't know what that means either, and it's probably something I shouldn't be talking about.
So I got 18 likes and 4 hugs or whatever,
Yep.
and 3 people laughing at it. And this Brandon Messina guy, I would have hooked up with him, based on his body. Now that I see what his face looks like, yeah, maybe a little less so. But in my dating women days, maybe I'd have hooked up with both of them because his wife is hot.
Mhm.
She's smoking. But then, a guy I used to work with at the Secret Service, Paul Oswald, laughing at the post.
You
Of
worked with this
gay-
guy?
yeah, yeah.
Get
Oswald's a
out.
bad guy, but these people are so like the comment that I have on video, a clip of a show I did last summer, 2023. I said you can be a Republican, you can be a conservative, and not be an asshole.
Mhm.
And these conservatives don't understand. They say, "Oh well, Trump's our guy." It's like they're not allowed
Mhm.
to see through his shit
Mhm.
and speak for themselves and say we need to get a better candidate. We've got a candidate for family values who's cheated on all 3 wives he's ever had, and for all intents and purposes is divorced a 3rd time.
Mm.
You know, Melania has her own bedroom in Trump Tower.
That's no surprise. One would assume that.
It doesn't exactly spell out great sex life. When he's taking, I know this not because of the Secret Service, because the Playboy playmate that he was supposedly dating while married to Melania, the one that he didn't pay off, was given a tour of the residence. And he points to a door and says, "That's Melania's room."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, that's when she said she actually felt sick. Like, oh yeah, she's here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
That's a candidate for family values.
Yeah.
Like, and people think, oh, I'm athletic. I like you mentioned the reference to sports too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you do when you have a young team this year? Do you expect to make the playoffs?
No, you're building your team.
Yeah. 2020, 2024, you should have been building. Instead, you were sucking up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So back to gratitude. So you're grateful for those 18 people who gave you likes and hearts and hugs.
22 in total versus the 3 asshats that thought the post was funny.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
It gives you hope.
Yeah. What do you think they understand? Those 22 versus the 3 or 4. What is it about their character?
That it's not just about them.
It's not just about competition.
You might know this one. Stacey Beckley.
Okay.
Stacey Beckley, now married Stacey Beckley Vodra, I think was from my class. Yeah, because you got Andrew Moyer and Brian Miller, among other mutual friends. She gives the whole hug thing.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy Weand, they're not gay.
They're female.
Yeah. Becky Brown.
Oh, she's so special.
Yeah.
I love Becky Brown.
Jen Armstrong.
I remember Jen. Yeah.
She was 2 years ahead of me.
And you think about it, you've got a following of lovely women.
Yeah. Here I am gay. I can go shopping with them.
It's such a shame.
I can go shopping with them.
He's so cute. So we're grateful for these lovely women in your life who support you and who love you.
I'm thankful, for as I want to smack some of them, I'm thankful for the family that I've got because they're not bad. Could be, heads and tails worse. Mm-hmm. Something I think about quite a bit. I'm thankful for the fact that I've had a career that has allowed me to retire at essentially 51. Or was it 50? Whatever. No, it was 50 because it was 2001 or 21. Yeah. I had more than 20 years. That's what it was. That has allowed me to retire at 50 years old. And
that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Something like this and whatever I want to do with the rest of my life. And I think of my dad, who's essentially kind of sort of still working at 73, not 53. Yeah, and we got to do something about that. And that's why, Joe Biden, that he even wanted to continue serving,
Mhm.
I think deserves a huge bro hug. The guy has been in federal service for as long as I've been alive.
Mhm.
And there's people hating on him because he didn't bow out earlier.
That makes me
What
sick.
people?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. That's
yeah,
just so freaking unkind. I mean, come on, people. But looking for anything to blame,
yeah.
I just, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, they're just they're fooling themselves to think that people would not have remembered his age at the ballot box. Okay? They
Yeah.
I mean, to think that anybody would think he would have done better than Kamala. That's no. Those Latino men, you think, would have come over to the Biden side because he was a male, just because he was male, they would not have considered his age. Young men, young males who apparently were attracted by Trump's machoism, you think they would have
So
voted for Biden?
I got to be
I
honest.
don't think so.
I think Biden would have done better. He
I
he
don't think
did.
no,
He
no, not
did.
if no,
But he
not
did do better in 2020.
wait, he's 4 years older and
Okay, so then there's
no,
that. All right.
no.
So
Yeah,
and I
no,
agree there. He
no.
is too old. He deserves
Yes.
retirement.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But if he is, just forget about the length of his service. If he is too old, how is Trump not
Exactly.
too old?
Exactly. Because he doesn't look, despite his
Have
orange
you
makeup,
seen the makeup on him?
he looks
Oh,
younger than Biden. He does. I'm sorry, he does.
well, because Biden has
He has the
genuinely
better
white hair.
makeup artist
Anderson
on his
Cooper has white hair. He's not older than Biden or
Yeah,
Trump.
well, Biden looks translucent. He just does. And and what's his name? Trump? He looks more vigorous, more vital. He just does. It's his makeup artist who has done him a real favor, despite the orange tint.
Despite how much it sucks,
No.
you're calling that a favor. Oh,
Wow,
oh,
something,
yeah, I know.
something. But yeah,
I know.
I mean, it looks Biden. It looks like you can look right through him. He's just almost not there.
And this,
And I love the man. I think the world of him, and I think he did a splendid job in 4 years. I mean, when I'm driving around Pennsylvania is not known for its roads, okay? But all the bridges that have been refurbished, all the
yeah,
even in my little small town area, I mean,
yeah,
it's significant. And I can only imagine that's true throughout the entire country. So,
yeah. Well,
so I no, I think
there's a spot
Biden,
here.
love him. Yep,
There's
will
a spot
always.
here for drainage by the Walmart on 19. It's beautiful. It looks like a
Mm,
park.
there you go.
And I'm taking my brother past it. And being an engineer, uh, whatever type of engineering degree he's got, being an engineer, he notices that, and so
Mhm.
that's really good. Your county did that really nice. I slam on the brakes and I point, and my fist is right in his face as I'm pointing out his window. I said, "Read that sign." It was from the Biden administration,
The Infrastructure Act.
and he didn't know what to say. He
Mhm.
thought it was all his Republican buddies that did that. No,
Mhm.
His Republican buddies are trying to put trying to put hotels in state parks
Right. Right.
to create more revenue for the state.
That's right. Yeah, that breaks my
That's what
heart.
his Republican buddies are doing.
Yeah. Yep. So we have a long, I don't know what's going to happen.
Thankful.
Never
I'm not-
mind 4 years. Could be the rest of the rest of what this country, has to look forward to. I mean, and I have a buddy. You remember Craig? Okay.
Hmm?
You remember Craig from back in our early days? I mean, he was writing me about the fall of empires and sees this to be the decline, pardon me, decline of America. So there's that. Pardon
John
me?
Herbert from Junior High West,
There you go.
he called it 30 years ago.
Did he?
40 years ago.
Did he
When-
really?
When I was student teaching with him. Oh, you got a fan.
I do.
Hey there.
Come on in and say hi. What do you need, buddy?
I'm just checking. I wasn't aware you were home.
I put the toilet paper on Ginger's chair. That was my clue.
Oh, well, I saw that. Then I knew you were home.
Right.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, I'm gonna drive up.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
Not long.
Have a good time.
Bye.
With a little bit of my household.
I had to cough, so I muted my mic.
I see.
I didn't turn it back on, so I yelled to him, but nobody heard it.
No, he's
Is
fine.
he headed to the casino, or is he off to?
Yes, that's where he's headed. I'm going up, which means he's going up to Bethlehem.
I'm trying to think of when you and I first started, when we just recorded.
Yeah.
Is this his normal time to go?
He usually ends up, it's been a Monday since you and I have been recording together. It's always
Yeah.
a Monday. He usually goes up though at 9 a.m, but he had,
Oh.
we got a little behind because we were away for a few days last week. So he
Yeah.
was doing work in his office until now. And I ran up to BJ's this morning quick and before I got on the air with you. So
Okay.
I haven't seen him much. And usually before he goes to work, he'll say, "So what's your day?" So he knows where I am. He had no idea I escaped to BJ's except the post-it note I left him.
So, I was saying one other thing I'm thankful for is that we still have some level of hope, and that there still is a democratic process. He hasn't chewed it up all yet, although he's in the process of it. Look at I'm forgetting the names. I can never remember their names, but it's Turkey and Budapest, Hungary. The diplomatic governments there are falling because the authoritarian, democratically elected, quote unquote, leaders have manipulated the legislature and have already taken control of the courts.
Yeah.
Does any of that sound vaguely familiar?
Yeah. And, you have a little bit of hope for the democratic process. Well, you've got more hope than I do because I figure by January 21 or 22, since his first day, he's going to fire everybody and, and it won't be a democratic process anymore.
Yeah, I'm really anxious to see how that plays out because it would be a blatant violation. I mean, flat out. There's nothing he's got that can say why he would terminate civil servants that are not there as his appointee. You can't just terminate somebody in the government. There's a process, and it sucks.
Let me tell you, I don't think he'll pay attention to the process, Ross. I think he'll just say, "Don't come to work tomorrow. You're all fired." End of story. I mean, what do you do to Jim Comey?
But Jim Comey's an appointee.
I really, I hope you're right. But again, I don't know. I mean, he'll appoint
No, in
Eileen
fact,
Cannon as Attorney General, and as Attorney General, she gets to fire everybody. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how the process works.
and there is a Supreme Court justice down here in Florida that I voted against. I have more time in the Washington field office than she has on the bench at all, anywhere.
I understand,
And
but she's there.
DeSantis points her to the Supreme Court of Florida
hmm
because they're politically aligned.
hmm Yep. Well, hang on to your hope and remind me of it every time we get together, because I'm going to need it.
Uh, you might be reminding me. In fact, you had said about me being right. In fact, I hope I'm wrong. I would love nothing more than the next 4 years to not provide me the opportunity
Right.
to say, I told you so.
Right. Right.
Because if I say that, then some of our biggest fears will have come true.
hmm So, meanwhile, as Stephen Colbert says, and I love when he does that. That's so funny. But that's become a real catchword. Meanwhile, we are grateful.
I kind of had it earlier when it was just me in the first hour. I was on like this rant or another rant or whatever, and I would say it's 12:43 at 99.1 WDJY, like it was just part of the news.
Oh, God. Yeah, so here we are, making our way through the day, doing our thing, and working toward making the world what? Positive talk in a negative world. Are we
Yeah.
still doing that?
So yeah, and that was part of my rant earlier.
I mean, we got to keep that up. Somebody's got to
Well,
do it.
yeah. Here's where I need your advice in the last 15 minutes.
Oh, cool. Advice. Yes. Go.
We talked about, and David Beckmeyer was really for this move about me being less of a Howard Stern of politics and more, to use my words and my analogy, more of a Mr. Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I shared that with you last week, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And wanting to take the lead on the positivity
Mm-hmm.
and that positive message, and the fact that one, Mr. Rogers, literally and figuratively, is dead.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody being a Mr. Rogers in anything. But how many Howard Stern wannabes are there out there? On
Well,
political talk shows, on quote unquote comical talk shows, on this, that, the other, or whatever.
let me just say that if you decide to go to the Mr. Rogers way of broadcasting, it's going to be, I hate to say this because it's antithetical to what I mean, but it's going to be a fight. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's
again,
been.
our culture is so into negativity and so into competition and so into rage and so into drama and so into all that kind of stuff. You're not going to have the listeners because they're not going to tune in to hear all the nice stuff you want to talk about unless you're broadcasting to young kids.
I'll be right back.
Unless you're huh? You got to go? I pissed him off. But you know, I do a podcast called Be Inspired. All right. And I do it because my mission is to get to know people, because the people I run into are inspiring. And what they're doing, how they got to where they are, what they're doing in their business or what they're doing in their lives is so very lovely. And I think it needs to be celebrated. Now, I know pretty much that, people aren't terribly entertained by my podcast. And so I don't have gazillions of listeners at all, and probably never will, because it's all about being positive and celebrating and, being nice to people and kind. And like I say, showcasing what it is they are offering the world. So it's a sad reality, but it's the way it is. I had a podcast episode a couple of weeks ago with a gentleman who had his own podcast years ago that he was part of he said he was on the Howard Stern show, and he interviewed in his own podcast Pete Davidson, and he had his own drama, terrible drama in his life, and had suggestions for me to, gain listeners, I suppose. But it violated really who I am and what I want to do. And so if Ross decides to continue with positive talk in a negative world, he's going to have to accept the fact that his audience may not be as large as he would like. Hopefully the stations will stick with him and not say, I'm sorry, you don't attract enough listeners during your time and we don't want you on our air. That's the fight, and I would like to think that people would be interested in listening to the good news, but I also know that's really not part of our culture. Hey, even I mean, as positive as I like to be and celebratory as I like to be, a lot of my TV shows that I watch are not necessarily positive. I look at it as it's catharsis for me, listening to all those negative kind of shows
Sure.
that are violent and all about crime. But as I was saying to your audience, the fight is about listeners. The fight is that in our culture, we're not entertained by kindness. We're not entertained by lovely things. We're not necessarily entertained by getting along well with people. How to win friends and influence people. And so what the fight is, as I understand it, is going to be for listeners. Will the radio stations that you are connected with, will they say to you, I'm sorry, you're not getting enough listeners, therefore we don't want you on our roster, as it were?
Yeah.
That's the fight. That's the fight. And are you willing to do it anyway? To keep on trying, do the positive stuff.
I just had a little practice because speaking of Mr. Rogers, I just sent the trolley to the land of make believe. Phew.
I see. Thank you for sharing.
Too much information this week too.
Thank you for sharing.
Oh,
Oh, God. Here we go. We have to laugh. There's the thing. We have to find things to be amused by. We've got to bring back some of the fun
that's
things.
got to be a clip too.
Yeah. I sent Amy a cool thing about bees last night. Do you know that flowers send off an electrical signal when they've got nectar to be collected, and that electrical signal does something like raises the hair, shall we say, raises the dander on the bee's back, and they say, there's a flower I need to visit. Electrical signals. Is that fascinating or what?
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised by stuff like that. With I forget where I saw it, but they were talking about UFOs.
Ah.
That we've actually already mastered anti-gravity. We just don't use it. Like, for example, the technology that we have at our disposal that's not used. During the Gulf War, back in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
the U.S. military was using this device, this handheld device, to take notes on and then snap pictures of terrorists.
Hmm.
Today, it's called an iPad.
Ooh.
It's common now, 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a cool toy that only the military had.
Can I segue a minute?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Last night on 60 Minutes, which was 90 minutes, I think, by the way,
Okay.
they had a clip on there about artists who are using robots to create sculptures. And that it takes such a short amount of time for the robot to create this really detailed sculpture, where it would take human beings 10 times the amount of time in order to do what a robot can do. And there was some discussion about, well, we can't have that. It takes away the human. Therefore, it's not as good art because it's done by a robot.
It's not a skill. Yeah.
And
Well,
I hear that as, because I work with artists in the studio and so forth. I mean, I hear that from time to time, that if you have some help with creating an image, if you, let's say, project it on the wall and paint from there, it's too much like paint by numbers, and there's no respect for that. You have an opinion?
I remember that's how I made something in grade school. We made a big, like 2-foot tall Santa that looked really good. But you put your paper up on a wall and basically traced
Mm-hmm.
an outline
Yeah.
from an overhead projector.
Yeah.
So you didn't draw a squat.
Right.
But now there we are with an accurate, a quality drawing of Santa Claus.
Now,
And miraculously, some of them still sucked anyway.
mine would have. But I think also of the doctors who are using robotic techniques in order to do surgery. Are we celebrating that, or are we saying, no, I'm sorry, the surgeon has to do it just by hand
No.
because that's the way we do things? We don't want these machines in our world that will help us do things better and faster. Isn't that the same thing?
To all these
art?
religious knuckleheads that say, I'm going to pray away my illness.
Okay.
There was, I think we told this joke on here about the Bible thumper that had a flood.
Oh, yes. I sent you a helicopter. I sent you a robot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that.
That is
Mm-hmm.
God's grace.
Mm-hmm. It
in
seems
that
to me.
Brain
Yeah.
that can figure things out, that can invent things,
that can create the computer program for this robot to be able to do this miraculous artwork.
Even more miraculous into what we are as humans. What, in its finest points, what is brain surgery? When a brain surgeon operates on another human being's brain,
yeah,
what is really doing that operation? The brain surgeon's brain.
Right. Right.
So it's a brain fixing another brain.
Yes. It's a brain creating a computer program for a piece of art. It's a brain. Yes.
So,
yeah, I don't know.
We can't figure something like that out by ourselves. Only God can do something like that.
How about that? Yeah. Well,
I
admire
and let it happen.
And I admire people who invent machines, just as I'm driving along the roads and there's huge machines collecting corn stalks and making bales. And I mean, wow.
I always like the ones on the bridges that surround Washington, D.C. During because the bridges are historic and not all that wide, as are many of the highways, especially in the downtown area or through the parks, certain times a day, all or most of the particular lanes for these highways and bridges are either inbound or outbound,
Okay.
meaning you can't even get on the highway to go counterflow because it's closed.
Mm-hmm.
The northbound lanes are southbound.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And or vice versa. In the afternoon, they're all northbound to get through the park and out of the city into Northwest DC and Chevy Chase, Maryland. Or in this case, the bridges that get across the Potomac into Virginia, they have these big concrete Jersey barriers, actually short concrete. They're not very long front to back. They're still, width concrete barriers. But instead of being 12 feet long, they might maybe like 4 feet long. And there's hundreds of them, to lane the bridge from DC to Virginia. But to move them, to create that extra lane from inbound to outbound,
Mm-hmm.
there's this big like Zamboni
Mm-hmm.
that drives over top of them. It straddles, the tires of this thing straddles the row of Jersey barriers. And it picks them up and places them from the one set of dotted lines over to the other one. And you keep driving forward, and it just keeps gradually
Wow.
picking each one up and picking each one up and picking it and moving it from the left to the right or the right to the left, whatever you got to do.
Wow. Yeah.
A big ass piece of concrete just picks this
I
thing up like
understand.
it's a brick.
Yeah. I understand. It's amazing. It's amazing. I am so enthralled by people who know how to make stuff like that, make machines like that, figure it out. God love them. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm grateful for those there. That's my Thanksgiving article today. I'm grateful for people with brains who know how to do stuff I would not have a clue in a million years how to do. And that
We
includes
lost
people like you. Yeah.
DJY early. It's only 12:59, but
Well, we should say,
everybody in Atlanta. Yeah.
yeah,
What
I'm
time?
Jane Stahl.
I'm Yergs.
And we're doing this together as both sides now.
Tomorrow I'll be back with Up the Middle at 11. And tomorrow's just me. Wednesday, we start Trump translations. Philip Blackett, our resident Trump translator, will be with us every Wednesday, and we'll be discussing all things that are the future Trump administration.
Oh my God, that sounds so fascinating. Good for
Yeah.
you.
He
Yay.
is. You don't know this guy yet. He's been on a couple times. He's recently was throughout the election, and then I think he was on this past Friday too. He is a Harvard-educated black man that's a Trump supporter.
I love it. I love it. I can't
Find
wait
me
to
somebody
learn.
else that's got all that in one.
Right.
And he is. He's. We were. It wasn't staged either. We were really kind of jabbing at each other in a Facebook post.
Wow.
And we turned it into a commercial for this Wednesday show.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic.
Hopefully he's going to be shed some light. You
have conversations with people in the same way I do for Be Inspired, and you be inspired by them and need to have them on the podcast, and you need to have them on the show. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But meanwhile,
every Wednesday.
I got to run, and hope to see you soon.
Well, yeah, like I said in the text, I'll be home this weekend.
That's incredible.
Last year until Friday night, and I'm leaving Sunday. But
what was that?
Saturday, I get home Friday night, like late.
Oh, okay.
So I don't see anything happening there, and then I'm leaving Sunday to come back down here because I don't want to leave the dogs with Zach for too long. But either during the day, dinner is at 5:30 or something.
Yeah.
During the day, or in the evening, So either like after lunch at the
Perfect.
O or
Perfect.
after dinner at
Yep.
the O,
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
How's
Sounds
that?
good. We'll
All
go
right.
to the O's and spend a little time together. It'll be great. Last year you
Yep.
were around here in Thanksgiving. You're coming a little bit earlier because of the price of
My
tickets and things.
niece, there's something about her schedule. I don't
Okay.
know.
All
Now
right.
everybody's going to bend over backwards for her.
That was such a happy surprise last night. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Yep.
Okay.
Likewise.
All right. Bye.
All right. Have a great evening. I'll see you this weekend.
Okay.
I'll
Great.
see everybody else tomorrow right here on Yerg's Radio or wherever you get us. We already lost WDJY, but we'll be back with them tomorrow. We'll be back with all of you and looking forward to it. 11 a.m. tomorrow. Wednesday is, what did I just say? Translating Trump. And Thursday, Psycho and the Psychic. And Friday, back to the usual Friday group of Up the Middle. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.